What's good? What's good? What's good? Welcome to the Evergreen Pod. I'm your man DM Doug. You feeling good tonight, bro?
I'm feeling really good.
I'm getting in there quick, bro. You good?
I'm feeling really good, man.
Feeling good, man. Will?
I'm ready, man.
You
I'm
ready,
locked
bro?
and loaded. You know me.
Let's go for
Let's
it,
go.
bro.
Lambo in the building.
Don, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's go, man. This is the Evergreen Pod where we keep it evergreen all the time. Everything we talk about stays relevant all the time. It's going to be relevant for years and years from now, so we here.
Yep.
And we got some things to talk about, bro.
Yeah, a lot going on.
We got a lot going on that we need to address, right?
Agreed.
Where we going first?
We're going to Southern Miss. Southern Miss. Welcome into Southern Miss alum.
Oh man. Man.
As a Southern Miss alum, I have been made to feel deeply ashamed of one of our formerly prestigious alums.
Oh man. He not prestigious no more, man.
Not in my eyes. No.
Oh man.
Not at all. Like not at all. Brett Favre, Hall of Fame quarterback of the Green Bay Packers.
Four?
Yes, number four.
Oh.
Yes, former Southern Miss quarterback. Once had some great games on campus and everything like that. It was found out by some great journalists at Mississippi Today. I'll give credit to where credit's due. Mississippi Today, with the investigation of Brett Favre, one of the former governors of Mississippi, the state of Mississippi, who I'll say this on the front end is one of the poorest states in the United States.
Right. This is true.
It was found out that Brett Favre was absconding. I'm gonna use big words.
You gotta define that for me.
Yeah.
Would you?
He was
That boy graduated. He graduated, y'all.
All right, Dante A. Smith. Dante A. Smith.
The unmitigated gall.
Oh man.
to steal funds that were meant for welfare recipients of the state of Mississippi. So we're not only talking about the poorest state in our nation, we're talking about the poorest people in the poorest state of our nation.
Right.
Wow.
That he was stealing these funds so he can build, which is there now, a indoor and outdoor volleyball facility on the campus of Southern Miss.
But
which
it's built already.
It is built. It is built, air conditioned, and standing, and being used by the Southern Miss volleyball team.
Yeah, tear down.
No shade on the volleyball team. They go where the coach tell them to go play ball at, right? If you've been keeping track, Jackson, Mississippi is under a water crisis after some flooding had occurred there, that they cannot provide water, clean drinking water or water to shower for their citizens. There's a crisis that still is going on right now. While this multimillionaire, right, has conspired with the governor of a state.
So how long has been? I got questions. So this building has been there for how long?
I believe it's in its second year of operation.
So how long has this whole thing been going on? I saw some text messages and stuff like that, but just so when you say steal, how actually did this happen? Like what was the process of it?
So basically, it was basically that he texted some people in government and they ran it up the chain to the governor and asked him if he would want to be involved. Now he did this while he was still the acting governor of Mississippi. He's no longer the acting governor of Mississippi, but at the time he was, conspiring and actually doing this heist. He was the governor of Mississippi.
So I did a little investigating on it.
Right.
And so come to find out, Brett Favre lives right outside of Hattiesburg
in
a city called Oak Grove.
I have passed his house plenty of times while I was on campus.
The reason why, what's the team that got the facility built first? the volleyball team.
Volleyball. Yes.
His daughter was on that team.
His daughter.
See,
is
now
was
that's
a
what I was
scholarship
about to
athlete.
ask a question. What is? I'm trying.
Oh,
to
what is the
figure out
connection was?
What the connection
Yes.
and what's the like why why would you do this?
He was trying to upgrade facilities for his daughter.
But he's a multi-millionaire.
But instead some people believe it's better to use other people's money than your money.
And on the flip side of this, his daughter is now at LSU.
A word?
Yes, transfer.
Transfer.
Oh, the plot thickens.
So not only
Hold on. So y'all tell. It's not funny. It's not
No, it's funny. It's real funny.
No,
Y'all telling me
nepotism really just backfired on him.
y'all telling me that this man stole money 2 years ago with the governor of Mississippi from poor people to build a volleyball, whatever.
no facility, indoor and outdoor facility, outside outdoor
So
sand
they didn't
facility.
have one already.
No.
A
I mean,
beach
they had
facility.
They had a gym. They had a gym.
A sand facility.
Yeah.
A beach facility.
To play outside.
she plays beach
outdoors.
volleyball.
Outdoor.
Her daughter
Outdoor.
At
volleyball.
LSU now.
Yeah.
Though.
Nah, yeah.
Right. That has an outdoor facility built.
He built it for her.
And she dipped.
And she transferred. Hit the transfer
Dipped out.
portal.
Yo, that's,
Hit the portal.
I don't blame her.
No, I don't
because
blame her at all.
In my investigation, I'm gonna read some of the headlines to y'all. Check out these
Yeah,
headlines,
go ahead.
man.
Knock it out. Knock it out.
And I'm gonna give everybody their credit too. So shout out to the Athletic. This is the headline the Athletic wrote about the situation. Brett Favre Foundation aim at helping children and cancer patients give funds to USM has backfired on him.
Clearly.
The Daily Beat. Brett Favre was a sexual harassing creep long before allegedly
Oh,
robbing
man.
poor people in the state of Mississippi.
oh, man.
Also true.
Oh, man.
The New York Times. Brett Favre's most memorable stat will be he stole $8 million from Mississippi.
Wow.
This is big publications, national headlines about some people who people believe is the best quarterback to ever play.
Wow.
Yeah. So on top of some of the things Will was saying, like I'm sorry that the lady's name is slipping my mind from Mississippi today, but in her reporting, she, when you report a story, you let these people know, like, hey, I'm putting this
about to put
story
this out,
out.
right.
So would you like to
Say
refute anything?
Clear anything up you
Clear
want to talk
anything
about?
up you want
Right.
to talk about?
That's good
'cause
journalism.
If not, I'm running it.
Right.
And he said he had no knowledge of these funds coming from welfare. But then text messages have come out in which he said, hey, will the press ever find out about this? Like clear as day text messages.
Hey, what grade are we in? Like, what year is this? When you still texting? When you still in?
It's texting out the crimes. You just texting your crimes.
The last one,
Dope boys know. Right.
yeah, for real. The last one I want to bring up, bro, is from HBCU Daily. Brett Favre asked for money to help recruit Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
In this article, I want everybody to go check out the website HBCU Daily. In the article, it shows text messages between him and the governor to where when Prime and Shedeur came on the visit, he immediately started texting the governor, can we get them a new indoor facility also? I know we got the volleyball one coming.
Yep.
And it's clear
Plain as
as
day.
day in the text message,
Yep.
in the article.
Yep. In blue and white.
The governor rolled on him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The governor rolled
Oh
on
yeah,
him.
because they started pulling them strings. They started getting a smaller fish and threatening them with jail time. They was like, hey, nah, I'm gonna take a plea deal.
No, so that's my question. So my question is, what are the implications for him? Like, is there legal ramifications in there? Like, is there who's about to catch this prison time?
See,
or whatever.
I don't
Here's the thing here's the question that I would, and if I'm gonna pull on some back channels because she seems to be good about doing. I've heard her on a couple of different podcasts. I'm gonna reach out to the reporter and see about trying to get her on. Like,
Let's go, baby.
legit, try to get her on. Because the one question I have is, have we reached the top of the tree? Is Brett Favre the top of the tree? Because when it comes down to welfare funds for a state, right, $8 million is a lot, but not a lot, right?
Yeah.
Like, is he the only one dipping?
No.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
Can't be.
Is he the only one dipping in?
Tip of the iceberg.
So that's what I'm curious about.
And then maybe those kind of questions are the questions that I ask or make me wonder, why is Mississippi the poorest state in the 50? You know what I'm saying?
Right. So when you want to talk about people being welfare queens, and things like this, these are the people who are controlling the other end of it. These people who are trying to better themselves.
Right.
But then you castigate them as being lazy or something like that. 100%. And let's just be real. Mississippi is the blackest state in the country. By per capita, by percentage.
That's it.
They're black, and they have the most black citizens in the state in the United States.
But the thing about him, the audacity for him to text this stuff shows me that as far as his implications, he's not really worried about jail time, because now it may be a sense where if he knew, okay, if I may get caught, I only stole $350,000. I don't even know if that's the case.
Right.
I only took $350 out of the $8 million. Okay, just pay this back with interest, and I'm good, and he'll sweep everything under the rug.
That's exactly what's happening. So it wasn't $300,000. It was actually, it came out last year that it was $1.1 million.
Okay.
He's already paid the $1.1 million back.
Okay.
To the government.
Yeah, to the state.
But he hasn't paid back
But he hasn't paid back the interest.
There you go.
That's what it was. Okay.
So
because I just threw a number.
So what is? Hold on, it's 1.1. What is other 6 point whatever at?
it's in the school.
Yeah.
It's already at the school.
That's
And that was money he was getting for he didn't show up to. He could have kept that money, but he didn't show up to speak in the game.
He was supposed to be so he was supposed to go on speaking. He was supposed to go on speaking engagements in order to encourage these folks that could use the assistance. He was supposed to do like commercials and go on speaking engagements to advertise
NIL.
and basically
recruit
these people like, hey, these programs are set up for you.
These people.
Yes, these black people.
Okay,
yeah.
The welfare.
Yeah,
like the people that need.
And ain't just black people.
Hold on. The people that need assistance.
Yeah, they were trading on his fame.
So the $8 million is allocated to the people that need assistance.
Correct.
Right.
And out of the 8, he's supposed to do a campaign or something to begin to
But
bring.
that's part of the advertisement. The advertisement budget is part of the $8 million.
So that was supposed to go to him talking and different things, and commercial, whatever they're doing, right?
Right.
He took out of this that was already allocated to go build the facility. That was what you're saying.
He took the entire 8.
Okay.
and
didn't do what he was supposed to do.
And never did his part of what he was supposed to do.
So he could have kept his part if he would have did his part.
So who got the 8 now? Who got this? I'm still trying to find out this 6.9.
It's the building. I mean, most of five of it is the building.
5 is the building.
So
he didn't pay one. He didn't pay one back. So that's
he didn't pay 1.
So you're missing about 2.
That's what I'm saying. You still got something
missing
left
about
over.
2.
And you're still missing the interest off that 1.
Okay.
Right.
You really should be missing the interest off the whole.
Off the whole.
Now here's another question, and this may be like once again legal, right? Like, how can he be held accountable for this? We know that we got the text and all that stuff, right? But isn't legally like how did he steal it? That's what I'm trying to say. I know he stole it. We know he stole it. But I'm talking about if I'm trying to do a case against you and say, hey, you know what, embezzlement or whatever word we're gonna call it, right? How do we put the fingerprints of him on there versus the government or versus the school or whoever's paying out?
I mean, it's a conspiracy at this point.
Okay.
It's a conglomerate. It's between Phil Bryant, the former governor of the state of Mississippi, who's ultimately at the head of this.
Yeah, but he rolling. He gets roll on.
We're a sports show, so we're going to talk more about the sports. So true. We're taking the sports angle. So between Phil Bryant, Brett Favre, I believe there's a head lady in the AG's office of Mississippi as well, who is also a key figure in this whole.
All them rolling though, ain't they?
Oh, are they rolling?
I ain't heard. Y'all heard anything from Brett Favre? I ain't heard nothing. No. I ain't heard anything.
No, Sirius XM has taken him off of his radio show.
Okay.
I think Copperfit's still sticking by him.
Hey, while you I have a Copperfit. And it works. It does work.
I'm not saying nothing about Copperfit.
Copperfit.
I'm not saying about if they want to sponsor Evergreen.
I'm about to say if you can drop farm.
You drop some socks.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. We'll take it up. I'll come with the mug on.
We'll have so much Copperfit on.
Boy,
on this podcast.
I don't even know if they make hoodies, but
let me tell you something.
We got the polos on. We got everything on.
I had the Copperfit over my khaki pants, on my elbows, on my wrists. You know, I look like what was that TV show a long time ago? Was it the Ultimate Warrior? It used to come on USA. They used to have all those things on.
Yeah.
Bro, I'll have Copperfield on everywhere.
Everything, bro.
Shout out Copperfield.
I give Anna Wolf is the journalist.
Shout out to Anna Wolf.
And as I've heard her, I've heard her say on this is a 5 years of work that she's put in, trying to get past red tape and everything like that to get at the heart of this story. She had
5 years.
Yeah,
Wow.
Mississippi Today is a relatively new paper. When I was in Mississippi, we had the Clarion Ledger. That was the statewide Mississippi paper, right? But they are a new publication. She went and approached her head editor, about having her own beat. She just wanted. When she approached this story, she had no idea Brett Favre was even involved.
Oh, wow.
She just wanted to know what was going on with welfare being the poorest state in the country. What was going on with welfare and everything like that? Why are these people constantly caught in this cycle? So she approached it and boom, she found what has been found out.
All right, so here's the evergreen like sentiment to me that kind of lasts, and now it makes you think. First of all, the balls that you have to have, once again, to be texting about it.
Yeah.
Right? And we all know, like, the mind that you have to have that you're invincible or you're above the law, especially in a certain place, but that you're overly protected, maybe because you're a certain skin color, is utterly amazing, right? That you would be this boneheaded to do stuff like that. Like, at least, nobody should steal. We know that, right? But at least if you're going to steal, be a good thief.
Yeah.
Be good at it. Whatever you're going to do, be good at it, right?
Yeah.
Be smart at it. Make sure that if you're going to do it right?
Yep.
But the idea that you're protected, like you just feel like nothing's going to happen to you, and we're still not really sure what's going to happen, which is what's crazy, right? But then the second thing is, where else is this going on?
So here's a part of Anna Wolf's story. This is just part of $77 million.
Wait, what?
This $8 million is part of $77 million of funds that were supposed to help the needy. This is what the forensic auditors have found out. It is the biggest public fraud case in state history.
77 million.
77 million.
And
that's just what they found.
That's the one that they found, and that's the one that they're talking about. And that's the one that somebody has the nerve to do a report on. You know what I'm saying?
In the last 5 years, 77.
There's some universities, and I'm not gonna call them names, but there's some universities that would always get funding and you just disappear. It disappear, and you wonder why they're not making progress, why they're not progressing when it's like everybody knows they should be progressing, but this money seems to be disappearing. Yeah. And the same thing with that. And I know, Mississippi might be, and I'm no disrespect, but it might be an easy target for those to do that embezzlement and all that stuff with
Absolutely.
that. You know what I'm saying? But just imagine how much of this is happening at higher money levels. Yeah. You go to a place like, I know New York got more money, or
Cali,
or Chi-Town, Cali, like all these places got way more money, and it's like it may be allocated for those things, but who's doing what? The fact that you allocated, $8 million to Brett Favre to do advertisements.
That was $1 million to do advertisement.
But even that, for welfare.
Yeah.
I don't. Welfare.
I don't.
What else?
I don't need. I'm running an ad. I'm running a commercial. What they watching it on to come in? You get what I'm saying? Like I'm not.
And they only watching it in Mississippi. It's not like this a nationwide or word. This not a Super Bowl ad.
No.
Right?
These are the things that I'm always talking about, bro. It's like what are y'all doing? What is in your mind to make you think that is the way to go? When trying to help, is what I'm saying.
What play? Like a question I have is like, where are we as a society where, I understand the infatuation with athletes. We have an infatuation with athletes,
absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
I understand that.
Absolutely, I get it.
But like, Will, in your actual life, you work real estate. Mm-hmm. Just on the, would you let Drew Brees just come in and run one of your complexes for you?
Nah, man,
just on the strength of him being Drew Brees?
Nah, that's
right.
Failure. Set up a failure.
So, like, where are we as a society where, a retired quarterback can just phone up the governor of a state and get his hands on welfare funds within 6 months?
Yep. Well, I think,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
I think
when you're supposed to be helping the entire state,
right?
They didn't need to pay nobody. They could have hired They could have hired somebody that needed the help to do the commercial.
The governor could have done the commercial himself.
That's true.
Like I think once again now I think that and this is something to look into across the country. That I think the welfare departments may be the low hanging fruit. Mm-hmm. If you get what I'm saying, it's like the easy one to kind of get in there and kind of move it around like that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I don't know. That's
because ain't nobody checking on it.
Ain't nobody checking on it.
All right.
And what they gonna do? What the people that are
except people like Anna Wolf who are doing the investigative work.
Now how many gonna do it?
Exactly.
How many getting? Because those publications are owned by the same people that own the teams and the athletes that we love, or whatever. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So how many people are willing to step up and do it? Shout out to her. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Shout out to her for even poking her head in there and doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And even if she like
and staying committed to it.
Staying committed to it. And even if she accidentally bumped up on this part of the case where it gave it the major publication, which I want to ask a question about that because somebody was calling out ESPN for not talking about this.
Absolutely.
Did y'all hear anything on ESPN?
I've heard things recently after people stared bringing it up.
But this has been out. This
has been out for
publicly. It's been out.
Yeah, this has been out for a minute.
Right, for what 3-4 weeks, right?
Yeah, and that's the new part of the story. The old part of the story was last year.
Yeah,
around this time when he came out with the 1.1 million.
So
this part came out.
Wait.
Yeah. The first part of the story
so this
was
been going on
for a couple of years.
Yeah,
and they haven't.
Yeah.
Wow.
Until that big number showed up, that 8 million showed up.
Right, then they got right.
Then everybody started attaching to it.
Yeah, so this particular story was released on September 13th. Today is, September 28th.
Right. Wow.
So you've heard very little.
Is it the obvious thing? Is the lack of coverage the obvious thing? Come on.
Yeah, they love Brett Favre.
Wow.
They do.
That's what I'm saying, but
they love him.
Like he's not even active.
But you're forgetting all the other stuff they covered up for Brett Favre when he was with the Jets and all of that,
right?
And fondling women and stuff like that. Like
sending pictures of his privates.
How is he a Hall of Fame? How is he in a Hall of Fame? Maybe the NFL need to be held more accountable for this kind of stuff too, not just ESPN.
Preach.
Like how?
Preach.
You can't do
we
it.
Need to talk to the person that. Let me speak to the manager.
Yeah, we got to keep going.
We're revoking Hall of Fame status.
On Evergreen, I am.
If he convicted or something like that,
pull your card.
You ain't got to be convicted. He paid the money back already. He stole it.
Here's the thing. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're admitting guilt. If you're paying the money back
already.
You're admitting guilt. You did it.
I'm still trying to find that $2 million.
That's what I'm thinking about.
I'm trying to find out what it's too.
Athletic department.
You know what I'm saying? It's almost
athletic department.
It's almost like you just flood the zone with so much BS that it's hard to pin you down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh. I get it.
They learn their lesson from who a lot of them look at as a mentor.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Right.
Message.
Yeah.
And like another thing that I'm thinking about too. Obviously, if he did this, this is not the only state doing this. Obviously, not the only state doing this. So when we see these numbers and these people giving this big money to these universities, whether it's an athletic program or whether it's to build a building, the wealthy, and a lot of times, look, we all agree with wealth. We want to be wealthy. We're not saying that, but you have the other people. The way they get wealth is through the ways that's not appropriate to get wealth.
Absolutely.
And so you see someone give $10 million to build a new building on a university campus. Mm-hmm. Is this actually their $10 million, or are they dipping into the pool like what Brett Favre did? So that's what makes me think, because this is not the only case. This is not just Mississippi.
Is it a quote unquote partnership?
Right. Is other states doing this? Because everything is a copycat.
Yeah.
College football is a copycat. This defense work, we're gonna run it. So same thing.
I can give you an example, Beck. I'll give you an example. And he ain't the only quarterback that did it.
Nope.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
They ain't the only state that did it. Hattiesburg ain't the only city that did it.
Nope.
Right.
You can go to New Orleans,
Yep.
Louisiana,
Yep.
and Drew Brees.
Yep.
He did not have the best bid
Nope.
to build the facility that he wanted at the old Jazz Land. He had the third best idea. They gave him the winning bid.
Yep.
Why? Because he was Drew Brees,
Yep.
and this is the city of New Orleans in the state of Louisiana. Drew making more money.
Right.
That project's gonna net Drew about $40 million.
Yep. Post career.
Ain't helping one kid in the city, and the mayor flying around on trips. Don't make me. I want to get on Lambo. Don't make me get on my Lambo stuff right now, man.
Oh boy.
So you got the mayor out here flying around, going to different countries,
Go ahead.
giving Drew Brees contracts, while they got the worst murder rate since the '90s when I grew up.
And Jack Boys.
Come on, man.
I was watching.
Jack
I was
Boy
watching.
Wild
I was
Ride.
actually watching her press conference,
Yeah.
and I was sitting there. I happened to be at my mom's house. I was sitting there, and she actually said the statement. Every day I wake up, I go the extra mile. I looked at my mom and said, "That's the exact problem. You don't went too many miles."
Hold on.
Oh, the city died.
right.
The city died.
So we Evergreen, right?
We
Yeah.
Evergreen. We Evergreen.
Okay. And so obviously we talk we a sports show, but we
Right.
are Evergreen.
Right, absolutely. Keep it a buck.
And so with that, even with Mel Contrail.
See, I ain't say her name. Doug did.
I'm sorry.
It's all good. We'll take it out if we need to.
She ain't not, well, we know who the man is.
Yeah, we know, everybody know the mayors anyway. And so it makes me think, now can we, okay, when I say this, we as black people, okay, let's just stop voting for a person
Yeah.
because they're black.
Absolutely.
Let's just stop,
Amen.
going above, beyond. We're going to put this person in the office, or we're going to give this person our money for their business because they're black.
Yes.
Like when you do things, like let's do our research on this person.
Oh, they gonna do right by you.
Let's see their background. Let's see their history. Like
Right.
just don't give because I'm black. Like for instance, like with our organization, people reached out to me before, like, hey, such and such has a philanthropy group where they're giving such and such money to minority organizations, to black-owned organizations. How about
Right.
you do it? How about I not do it?
How about,
Yeah.
how about
Because I can't be labeled as that because
Yeah.
now that's the only thing people are going to view our organization. So
Absolutely.
the same thing with that shows me, let's stop voting on color and start voting on character.
absolutely, absolutely.
And since we do talk a lot to young athletes,
right,
right?
right.
When you turn 18 as a young athlete, go register to vote.
Please.
Rest of the vote,
Please,
Register to vote.
right, right.
please,
Absolutely,
And find out when the elections are.
right.
do your research.
Do your research, and when it's time to step up, step to that booth, go do so.
Yep, absolutely, 100%.
I'm blank.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's a lot, and I don't think we've reached the end of this rainbow either. I think there's more. But Anna Wolf, you have an open invitation to the Evergreen Pod. I will be
Absolutely,
reaching out and trying to see if we can get you on.
absolutely.
That's the type of people that need to be hired by like the Associated Press.
Absolutely.
Like,
But that's the thing. That's the thing. Once you get in the machine,
Yeah, AP,
The
machine be bought and paid for.
Yo, I can remember. Y'all remember this when we were young. I'm jumping, but I'm gonna tell you where we're at as far as the machine across the board. You can entertainment, sports, whatever you want to say. I'm gonna show you what the machine looks like, and it's very consolidated now. The machine is trying to buy up everything and own up everything.
like Amazon owns the Washington Post.
Hey, have y'all watched any Amazon Thursday night games yet?
yeah,
Yeah.
I did.
I haven't.
Y'all like them?
I
You
did.
like the production?
Yeah, all right. You can skip through and stuff like that. You just the hard part is you can't get off of the app
No.
and like switch channels and stuff like that.
Right.
But
Like you
once you're on
locked
the
in.
app,
You
you're on
locked
the
in.
app.
Right. You locked
Yeah,
in.
well, that's on purpose.
Yeah.
But I can remember. Y'all remember when we was young? They used to have the all request line on the radio.
Yeah.
And you call in and tell them what you want to play,
Yeah. Right.
even if it's a song that's not popular. You notice you don't hear it anymore, right?
Nope.
Because everybody's
Spins.
owned by the same people.
Spins.
Clear Channel started buying up everything. I know you hear a lot of iHeartRadio and everything. I did my research because I'm music head. But they end up buying everything, and now those DJs they can't play what they want to play.
Nope.
They can have the hottest song in the streets. They can't play like
Honestly, they could hook up an iPod and just be in the
autopilot.
studio and
Right.
just autopilot.
They just showing up to work.
Yeah,
Right.
they literally have a list of how many times you gotta play Drake today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many
Yeah.
times you gotta play?
How many spins you got?
We say such as popping, but Akon did a interview. I want to watch. I saw a clip of it, but he started talking about the politics, and that's what we're talking about with the sports. It's politics. We talked about that before, Doug. Like the politics, some people don't even get a chance because they don't know somebody. Because they don't have the right agent or they don't have the right people. It's politics. And what I do love about the internet and I love about social media is that it kind of gives a door to open up a lot of things that we wouldn't normally see. Like even old girl, Anna Wolf.
Yeah.
They open up doors to see things you wouldn't normally see, and they can catch fire and go viral anywhere. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
It just kind of evens the playing field from the machine.
I mean, I like to pose this to Doug. Like you probably had the most successful playing career out of everybody sitting here.
Yeah,
you got
especially me.
I ain't with that.
Especially me. Boy, you got a way better football career than me.
Downhill daddy.
Because I got 0 stats.
So I'd like to ask, like, can you separate or notice like when you're accepted in doors that you probably or you think you maybe wouldn't be if you just came as Joe Blow? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you notice it? Do you see it? Like, can you see like, hey, you know, such and such, I can get this connection because, you know, they you know we had the 2007 championship team was stepped out on the field at halftime or during the timeout, wave to the crowd.
Call it like it is, man. Would Doug be at LaBerge on every Saturday on the radio if he wasn't Derek Beckwith?
Bro. Shout out.
No, that's a good question, and like I'm totally aware of it.
Yeah,
I'm totally aware of it. That obviously, you know, playing LSU and being from Baton Rouge, that I may have access that other people do not have.
Right.
Now, beforehand, I was very gun shy about that. I didn't want to come off as arrogant. I didn't want to come off like I was better than anyone else because I'm not the only one that came to the LSU program.
Right.
For every, you know, I started 3 years and quote unquote had a, you know, decent career at LSU.
Okay.
But
all right.
But other guys.
We're gonna let you do that.
Let you be humble guy today.
But other guys, you know, I'm thinking about the 99, 100 other guys that are on the team did the same thing I did.
Right.
Sweated the same way, ran the same amount of sprints, lifted the same amount of weights, went to the same hours of classes. And so for me, I was kind of hesitant about that. I still go with the humbling approach, but I do know for a fact that maybe I can call a certain school right now and say, look, this is what we want to do. We want to do a financial literacy program. They'd be more open and acceptable to it just because that I went to LSU, which brings me back to the whole purpose and path type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the time, like for athletes, when you're doing this, like you really don't know why you're doing it. Like you're not just doing it to run out in front of 100,000 people, score a bunch of touchdowns, get a bunch of awards, because eventually that stuff is going to catapult you into your career when it's done. And at the time, you don't know that. Like, I'm out there balling, like, I'm pumping the crowd up. Not knowing, like, wait a minute, 15, 20 years down the line, that's the reason why I was at LSU. To have access to my bigger calling.
Yeah, and I guess, I don't know if it's a question, or maybe you just answered my question. But
Hey, can I pause right quick?
Yes.
This is a dope podcast right now.
Hey, man. Hey, bro.
We're the best in the country. We're really the best in the country.
Like, just, anyway, go ahead.
100%. The way we you know. Yeah. But another thing I want to say is, and maybe you just answered that question, but I want to say that there is responsibility for being able to get into those doors. I think that the individual character, we're talking to people now, I think the individual, and I think this one thing we can speak to is about their character, knowing that long term, there are going to be doors that you're going to get into that you couldn't get into before. But there's a responsibility to the doors that you walk into to be able to change those spaces that you go into. And even if you get opportunities like Mr. Favre that we're talking about, to be able to allocate them, or I'm sure he had an opportunity to give other ideas on how we can allocate it. You know what? Maybe we don't need to do no commercials, and you pay me for the commercial. What if I do the commercial pro bono, and you still get the commercial done? Come on, y'all. Is it possible?
Yeah.
Here's a responsibility.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you just spoke to that about the purpose of it, the responsibility, because you can clearly do it pro bono. You can clearly say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna do the commercial.
Well, here's the thing. He even stated that he wanted all the proceeds to go directly to USM, your Southern Mississippi. He just never freaking did it. Like, you're a retired athlete. You're not on TV.
Right.
He literally lives like 10 minutes from the school.
I've personally, like, literally have seen him on his tractor. Because he lives literally right off the not the interstate, right off the highway.
You're right there.
Like, you can drive past it and you're gonna see a big fence going down. We got his initials on it. and you look over and you'll see him out there sometimes just riding on the tractor.
How does he want? Y'all gotta work with me. All right? Just work with me for a quick second. He wants the proceeds of the money to go to USM
for work he never did.
For work he never did,
Yeah.
but I thought the money was for welfare.
Yeah,
It was, but the
advertisement is part of the budget.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like the advertisement for the welfare program is part of the budget, which I get. That's fine.
So if they have 100 million, 8 of that million go to advertising.
And so the $8 million, they can allocate that.
They can
So however
advocate
they
to
want.
radio,
They can advocate it to
TV.
Evergreen. We just got to show up on time.
Right. We got to show up and be like, "Hey, y'all, here's the sign up program. Here's where you sign
We
up."
about to talk about the DBF. We about
Right.
to talk about how y'all can own some real estate.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right, but I guess
we about to talk about some merch.
I
We
think
about to.
I'm like Montreal. Like that's the part I'm still confused about because if this coming from the welfare pool, why is it still being split and allocated to other things besides?
See,
This is where the fraudulent
I'm
part
about to go back. I'm about to go back to a word that we coined a couple weeks ago: money confidence.
Money confidence.
Now, this is where people have too much money confidence because you have $100 million budget for welfare. Oh, well, I can take $8 million and allocate it towards advertisement.
Yep.
Yo, but it's $8 million, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, it's $8 million.
You know how many houses that is?
You know how many houses? You know how many books? Do you know how many And I know
Programs.
maybe somebody's sitting there and they listen. They say, "Well, you don't understand. You don't know how it works in the government. You don't know what it really takes to take care of us."
grease these hands and everything like that. Right.
And that's okay. That's okay that you may call me ignorant for maybe I don't understand, but I do understand when I see what I see and I go where I go and we deal with the things that we deal with on a daily basis, that there's better allocation for the things. I mean, and it doesn't take rocket science to get it done.
I know it's no way it costs $8 million for advertising.
Listen, bro. Listen. No. Let me keep it a buck. It does. I'm gonna tell you, it does.
Okay.
But that's the problem.
Okay,
because
of airtime.
No, this is the problem. I once again, y'all, I'm jumping back. I know I'm jumping back into the music, but I did a campaign. I hired a lady from New Orleans, did a whole radio campaign, right? And she was telling me I had to pay her per month. Okay, I was paying her, I don't know, $2,500 a month, right? But that was just for her fee to get me in contact with the radio station. Then I was on the phone all day long talking to AM and FM radio stations. But what I had to do was go buy ads because we can't do payola. Payola is when you pay the DJ to play your music.
Can't do it.
So can't do it straight ahead. So I'm doing indirect payola. So I'm buying ads. So the ads are costing, this much, depending on the radio station, depending on how many followers. This is how the ads go. But here's the situation. Yes, I understand the radio station has to run. Yes, I understand they have the staff to pay. Yes, I understand that everything has to go that way. But at what point do we collectively as people realize that we're defeating the purpose on our own? You get it? Yeah. It's almost like when I saw a billionaire the other day saying he was giving all his money away and he gave it to his foundation. Like, what are we talking about? I understand the foundation
Tax
got
breaks.
a staff and they got a foundation. Like I'll never forget Bill Gates and Warren Buffett talking about giving money, talking about this giving to their foundation. And I was like, yo, your foundation is a multi-billion dollar corporation. You know what I'm saying? That
operates
taxes.
as a nonprofit.
That doesn't pay taxes, by the way. But you still got to pay that CEO. You still got to pay that. If you got a CEO and a CFO, boy, you a big company, boy. Boy, you ain't no
you ain't no nonprofit.
Y'all get what I'm saying? I understand, y'all. We understand business. We all understand business. We all understand. But I'm saying at some point in time, we got to realize that our understanding of our systems and our setups is the problem.
It's the setup. It's
They
the
are set
setup.
up.
It's
They
the
are
setup.
It's set up. It's set up. Why you can't if you're the radio station or the TV station or whatever, why you can't roll off and give that discount for that? You know what I'm saying? Why you can't roll off and give? Y'all done paid for y'all cameras already.
Yep.
Y'all done paid for all y'all cameras, all y'all buildings. Y'all not paying no lease. You paying month to month stuff. Some of them companies are old as
Yeah.
y'all know what I'm saying. So,
We done been in them. we didn't see where they actually run out
So
of.
that becomes
Talk
the
about
problem.
I was hella surprised to see where one of our local radio stations ran out of when I walked in it.
Ain't that
I was
crazy?
just like,
what?
oh, this it?
Right.
This is it.
What? This is it. You know what I'm saying?
Even the TV, man. You go to New Orleans,
Yeah.
the TV
Man,
stations.
oh, man.
Come on, man.
You know, so I just
Well, here's the thing to that point. what is the motivation of the people who own these stations to do so?
I mean, you did right.
Because
not even the stations though.
Like, what do they care about the community of these people who don't directly benefit them?
And thus becomes the problem of why do you even have a welfare department? Like, why do you even, if you're going to allow it to be blocked, of those people, the powers that be, to not be able to do those things? Like, there should be a conversation. It should be like, yo, we're going to do advertising, but we're not charging this much money for advertisement because we're going to take the same advertising money and go directly to, right now the big thing is direct to consumer.
Yep.
That's the word. That's the word right now.
That's it.
Direct to consumer. Like, there's no middleman. We're going direct to consumer, right?
Yep.
Well, let's do what they call it, direct to consumer, DTC, right? Right. Let's go DTC, direct to citizen.
Yeah.
Somebody gonna steal that, I know. But
Go ahead, take it.
Let's go direct to citizen. Let's go.
If you're really gonna help somebody, take
Do
it.
it.
Well, I'm saying let's go direct to citizen, and let's go to. We got funds that are sitting there, and let's see actual needs. Can we assess the actual needs?
That's the biggest problem with this whole welfare situation to me, because I'm in real estate and I understand, and I want all y'all to call y'all local real estate agent and ask them about the programs that they have set up for y'all, so y'all can stop being in these other people properties and y'all can own y'all own property on the program.
On the program, right,
You can be on. You can get housing, and you can get your housing voucher switched over to a purchase.
Right.
And
Build
then
your credit up.
So then, if you still have that $100 a month, you still paying that $100 a month on something that you own.
Yeah.
Yep.
You staying there for 30, 40 years anyway. Own it.
Listen,
Yeah,
man,
equity.
this is important. This is important. I'm gonna tell y'all know what we're doing. I don't think you said it's a dope pod. I don't think we realize we're doing it real time. But if we were just a pod that was talking about some of those things right there, then there's a lot of people that wouldn't tune in.
Right.
But now that we're weaving it in with sports,
Right.
then the understanding comes, because all of these things are behind it and weaved in with it all.
And again, that's what I'm getting at. Like, I understand. I love sports. We all do.
100%.
Yeah.
Right. Everybody in this room, even our producers. All right. Swag. Jam. Like,
It's easy to talk about. This is
it's
why we
easy to
pod
talk
here.
about.
That's why-
Right. It's easy to talk about. Right. That's why we've been going. Right.
40 minutes.
So
Roll it.
that's what I'm saying is, like Will said, like, this is not a new story. Why does it take the involvement of Brett Favre for it to get headlines in the Athletic is understandable, but the New York Times.
New York Times. He played.
This is what you do, New York Times.
And he played there.
He played in New York. He played for the Jets.
I think
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think I got an answer for that.
why does it take Brett Favre to cross over that? Hey, people in Mississippi are hurting.
Yeah.
He's a sacrificial lamb. Listen, at this particular point,
He's going to be the scapegoat.
Yep.
Right. He's going to end up. If jail time should come, he's going to be the scapegoat when there's probably much worse actors out there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, he's probably going to be the scapegoat when there's
that's not the only funds the governor maneuvered, yo.
Not if he did.
Not just that.
Not if you looking at his text messages and seeing how easily he did it.
He's accessible.
go back again by text message.
You talked about what took him after his post career and being in Mississippi for it to come to light, and why it wasn't in New York, or why wasn't it in Green Bay, or why wasn't it in Minnesota when he was there. The reason being is because people gotta realize too, these NFL teams are billion-dollar organizations.
They are.
So they have private investigators that they hire all the time. They watch you, they track you all the time. So don't you think some of the stuff may have already been coming out, like even the allegation when he was with the Jets, or he could have been doing this stuff while he was still playing. Who knows? But that stuff does get leaked. And also when it gets leaked, these people come in from these billion-dollar organizations, put the clamps on it, because if this gets out, you're messing with my money. You're messing with butts in the seat. Because the only reason people come and see the Jets is because of Brett Favre. And only reason people come see the Vikings was because of Brett Favre. And there's nothing else to do in Green Bay on Sundays, right?
Go to the game.
Except go to the game and watch Brett Favre. So these things, the reason he was protected, because It was
the golden goose.
It was protecting other people's pocketbooks. 20 P's, bro.
Yep. So besides the
other
voting, besides the voting that we talked about before, what can we give the people for change, man? How can we change these situations? Is it, hey man, I seen something earlier, and then more people start getting behind it? Because we talked about the social media aspect of it. Do we need to build up those social media campaigns to get people behind it to stop this before it gets started to the $8 million? It should have been stopped when it was $1 million.
Or like you said, or as a citizen, call up your local newspaper who's supposed to be looking at things like this. Call up your local investigative reporter who are on these news stations and be like, hey, what does our welfare situation look like in my state?
Yeah, I think
pull some strings.
We've said some of the antidote that voting responsibility. I think it gets down to character. They say our audience, I think, is the upcoming athlete. You know what I'm saying? Amongst other people, there's a lot of upcoming athletes, and I will say this:
upcoming people who are athletes.
Upcoming people who are athletes, right? And I think that they say can't teach an old dog new tricks, right? Y'all heard this thing before, right? I think that there's some demographics or age groups that we're just gonna let go ahead and go on, fade off into the dust,
because they're gonna be who they are.
But we can deal with the new growth, and when you're planting trees, one of the things they do, if a tree is growing a certain way, you can put a stake next to it and make it grow up. Train up a child the way they should go when they're older. They won't depart from it. It's the old adage, right?
Right.
I think this is what we're speaking to now, because there's a character thing. Those that are coming up in politics in years to come, those that are coming up in education, entertainment, religion, medical field, government, all of these different things. And now we're talking about athletics too. There's a responsibility that is carried that starts with the character of a man's heart.
Yeah.
We've been trying to regulate it for so long, man. You know what I'm saying? I've been trying to, and we need rules because we need rules for the unruly. I get it, right? But then we still have to remember to antidote the heart, antidote to do the right thing, antidote to not ignore the obvious. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Why is it?
I think it's some of the things as though is when the unruly are slick enough to get there to work within a machine.
Right, absolutely.
Wolves in sheep clothing.
That's when it has maximum hurt.
And those that are in, there's a responsibility. This was real big when the white privilege thing came out. They was like, "Yo, you need to say something. You got you responsible to say something. You can right." Well, I think there's whatever words you want to put with the privilege now. Even if it's information privilege, right, or inside, connection privilege. You are responsible to when you know that some slick going on, you know what I'm saying, and you ought to be responsible to be able to make some statements about it. But you know how it goes.
Yep.
Well, you know what I'm saying? I think too, like,
very light subject to start off.
I mean,
keep going.
It should have been his own show.
Right. We have 45 minutes. Man,
hey, did you tell them no? Like and subscribe.
Oh yes. We need to talk. We'll talk about that on our closing remarks. We'll talk about that later. But I think the last thing about this is we talk about the welfare. How can it be resolved? I think for people that's educating people now about financial growth and how to properly set yourself up. Will does real estate.
Yep.
Shout out to the boys, Earn Your Leisure. I think they're doing an outstanding job of just giving game, man. When they started off, they was dropping free game, free gems, and now people can take that and realize, like, wait a minute, I don't have to depend on the government.
Absolutely.
I don't have to depend on people to make sure that I eat. I don't have to depend on people to make sure that my kids are clothed. I can actually do something about this.
Right.
And so when that starts happening, things like that, what Brett Favre is doing, would be minimal.
Correct. Yep.
Hey, Doug, you think I'm jumping subjects on the same subject. You think more athletes are responsible, like to give more back? Like you think there should be a more direct to citizen responsibility? I know the government's supposed to take care of the citizens, right? And I don't know who gives what, so I'm not saying anything who ain't doing it.
Right.
But I always look at I've always had an issue with all industries where people make money, where they complain about something going on, but it's like, yo, if y'all came together and because once again, money confidence, I got the nerve to pay you $250 million over 5 years. You know what I'm saying? Like that's really some confidence. So now, and we see some doing it. I'm not saying anything, but where do we see the athlete's responsibility overall? Right, I know they do the NBA cares and all that stuff like that, but those would be like photo ops, right? Like what, like real, like on the ground.
I think one thing about that, you're right, and some athletes are doing it. I'm not saying like LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, Jalen Rose, they're doing outstanding things.
Yep.
But I think if more athletes would do it, you would see a bigger change. Because one thing is this: as an athlete, when you go professionally, they blind you with so much other stuff.
Let's talk about it.
They make sure you got your home set up. Make sure we got this marketing set up. Make sure we got this advertising set up where you got to go here at this time. You're always on a schedule. And so when you're always on a schedule, you can't see anything else.
Wow.
And so
good point.
And a lot of professional athletes start nonprofits. But they start a nonprofit on something they're not even passionate about.
I can remember.
So if you're not passionate about something, how are you really going to be effective in it? And so for me, I think more athletes should begin to not be so blindsided and blinded by everything else that they're throwing at you because it's on purpose.
And they need to stop starting nonprofits for tax breaks, right?
That's it. Yep. That's all they do. That's the only reason they do it. They don't do it for a passion.
Right.
And like I can honestly say this, like I started because it was for passion. I ain't know about all the business side of it.
Right.
Until
we talked about it.
I had no idea. And that's how okay, this is a business.
Right.
But don't do it for tax breaks. Find out what you're really passionate about. And once they do that, once they find out they're passionate about, they can make more impact. But ultimately, we can talk about this till we blue in the face. They have to make a decision because you know, oh, wait a minute, it's more to this. But man, this feels good.
Right.
You know, it's almost like you wearing that mink coat for the first time. Like it feels good, and you don't want to take it off.
Frank Lucas.
Frank Lucas, right?
Don't you wear it out there? You're bringing too much attention.
And so I think if they once they learn their passion outside of that, and I think they're all doing it.
Yep.
I heard Jalen Ramsey and Bobby Wagner on a podcast talking about it.
Yep.
And Jalen Ramsey was saying, we are more than an athlete. Bobby Wagner negotiated his own contract. And he said, yes, on Sundays we're football players, but when that after that game, look, we can go develop neighborhoods, we can go build buildings and do real estate.
Absolutely.
But inject that, if more of them inject that into the community, I think you will see a big difference.
So what you keying off is something I always had a problem with when people talk online. They say, when he signed his contract, this is now generational wealth.
No,
and they're always talking about the future.
Right.
Depends on
this is the generation right now.
No, right now, right.
That money is for.
100%.
You're going to create more. If you get a $250 million contract, you're going to create $1 billion before you die.
Yeah.
Like it's no way possible not to, just to keep your money.
Right.
So the generational wealth, we got to start looking at that in a different aspect.
Right.
That generational wealth is for now.
Right.
And then it's going to create more generational wealth for the generations to come.
Right.
So if we can start focusing on the now and focus right here, a whole lot of more situations will be better.
100%. And even so, the generational wealth to me, and I'm glad you used that. And it's now, and I think the generational wealth is what I saw y'all on the video today on Doug's video. It was advertising. Y'all went to some school. I don't know what school it was.
Mentorship.
Yeah. But that's those young guys are the generational wealth. Like even if it's somebody coming from your own bloodline, right? Like you teaching them or showing them by example what to do, that becomes a generational wealth. We all know how wealth works. If you plant a seed, something comes up. It automatically, like you almost can't lose, right? And so if you keep watering and keep gardening the same way, you keep producing crops over and over again, and it's for today. It's not really for you to learn how to save it for. I want your kids to be good. But your kids, like I got a question for you, right? Do y'all know any famous Rockefellers? I ain't talking about Jay-Z and Dan Rockefeller.
I know what you're talking about.
But like, right? I know. I'm just playing.
I know what you're talking about.
But as you know, the Rockefeller, the main one. Everybody, right? As important as he was to the government and just the building of the U.S.
Right.
and as much money as he had to the point to where they did monopoly rules, anti-monopoly rules for him because he was going to loan the government money. In other words, he was richer than the government. Right. He's richer than the government. why is it that we don't see that type of we don't see any, and they still got money, don't get me wrong, so and it's crazy, right? So I'm not saying that, but why do we not see a multiplication of it or growth of it over and over again? Because there are some things that weren't instilled or passed down, you know what I'm saying, some principles that weren't done at the moment that causes things to grow more. If you plant a seed, y'all, and the tree grows, well, automatically the whatever the fruit is falls, puts more seeds, more trees. It's supposed to grow that way. It shouldn't go the other way. It's a problem, but it's because of the generational wealth, and because we, you know, my house, my few, my four and no more, right?
Four and no more,
and we don't realize that we've got to actually put it, and really seriously, not just going through the motions, but actually give these kids a generation. And once again, we're not saying nobody's doing it.
Yeah.
But the generational wealth is not.
It's not.
And funny that you bring that up like that, because I was actually watching a show on Disney Plus. Slips my mind, nature show. This is what I like. I keep nature shows playing in the background.
Bro, this all
if it's something that I'm really not paying, I'm just not paying. Like if I'm folding clothes or something that I'm just not paying attention, I'll just throw on something nature show.
Evergreen.
That
Always.
Trees actually build an underground network that they talk to each other,
bro.
And they can tell each other, like, hey, like the example they use, like a certain fungus had attached itself to this tree.
Right.
It sent the information out like, hey, you need to start growing this, and this to protect yourself from this. It's too late for me.
Yeah,
Come on now.
Right.
It's too late for me. I'm about to die. Yeah. So like in the example that you saying, it's almost like these fruits are falling off the tree, but you done built a fence around where the fruit can't even roll downhill.
It can't roll downhill because you built the fence.
Because you built the fence around
because
it,
and now fooled.
And now all the trees trying to grow in the same space. Well, if the top tree got all the shade, you ain't getting no sunlight.
Bro, it's crazy. That's crazy. And the reason you're building this fence is because you've been fooled that's what generational wealth looks like.
Bingo.
Ain't that crazy?
See, and like you said, like you saying people trying to take care of my four and no more. What if you thought about it in reverse, and what if I took care of my whole community and the community made sure my kids was good?
Yep.
It is basic. Listen,
it's a village.
It is basic gardening. Now we don't know anything about gardening. We're Evergreen, right? So we're gonna talk about little growth, right? We don't know anything about gardening because we buy all our fruits and vegetables from the store. That's for a reason. That's for a reason. They don't want you to have your mind attached to that idea and that concept because we know that it's eternal. Like it keeps growing, like it keeps multiplying after itself. And if that concept kept going with the athletes or with the entertainers, whoever, right? Then it begins to build more at the time that we're in. But tomorrow's not promised. Everybody always saying that, but then they won't build generational wealth. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't go together, right? Stop saying it. Let's build right now. They say the man that planted the seed for the oak tree not gonna be able to sit under it.
Gonna be dead before.
And shade for somebody else.
I read something the other day that was like it's like literally saying you're gonna live in a harvest that you didn't plant no seeds for.
Yep.
Right.
Like it's like we're literally doing it now.
We're doing it.
You know what I'm saying? It's the obvious thing.
Yeah.
And so I think that, like we were saying with the athletes, because we're speaking to athletes or people that are athletes, right? And because we're speaking to that audience more, there's a connotation they need to be doing that now. If you're not doing it. Do it now. If you are doing it, let's do it with a little bit more intention.
It also comes with pruning, though. You got to understand pruning, too. You got to be ready to get them shears out.
Absolutely.
Cut the dead weight off so you can keep growing.
Absolutely.
So you can keep being evergreen.
Absolutely.
Because even like at my house right now, we got some trees to cut down.
Yeah, got to go.
It's like 7 of them. But guess what? We're going to put about 40 more in the back.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
And I've always had a problem with the concept of like even though it is altruistic and great, like I love seeing stuff like
altruistic is the word.
Like LeBron and stuff doing that, right? But like even with like what's going on in Florida right now, I'm praying big prayers to all the people in Florida and Central Florida, out there. Hopefully everything is no loss of life or and property. Protect yourselves all out there. But like, thing is when things come back in, like the first person we're gonna be looking at is like Tom Brady, right?
Yeah.
Why are we not looking at the owners Right.
Yeah.
No, but it's for
Because you eating a lot more off of this than Tom Brady.
You
is.
talking about something, Don? You talking about something, Don?
Like we always look at the wrong people. Like we always look at the wrong people.
No,
like
no, it's on purpose. It's on purpose. It's on purpose. We the Gladiators. You ever seen the movie Gladiator?
Yes.
Dope. I don't watch it like 10, 15 times, right? The Gladiators were actually literally made to be a distraction. It was the people weren't having the food. They weren't, so what they were throwing out their bread. Don't they look like shooting them T-shirts out into in the game? Y'all see what I'm
everybody
saying?
jumping and reaching.
Yeah, you see almost trying to catch a baseball. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the same.
I actually caught one of them shirts. They don't fit well.
They don't fit well. They don't know your size.
They itch
They don't
and
know your
everything
size.
else.
They don't know your size. So it's the same connotation, and it was literally it is this is money confidence. This is why you got enough nerve to spend that much money for advertisement and to advertise these sports, whatever. Because I want you to look at me, and now Brett Favre is gonna catch, and as much as he
As he should.
Yeah, he should, but he's gonna catch the brunt when maybe there's some other places that we need to look.
The governor of the entire state of Mississippi.
Exactly.
The crazy thing is, all this tied together. Because I looked it up today, and I got a lot of people, a lot of family members that live in Florida. So I was calling them, checking on them, letting them know I got them.
Right.
You know, I looked it up today. The average cost to evacuate during a hurricane is $1,500 for a single person, and it's $4,500 for a family of 4. And we talking about people stealing $8 million. We talking about people gonna come back when everything passes over. Gonna look at Tom Brady instead of the family that owns the team. They're already evacuated, and they're evacuating their whole families. But what about the people who are on the welfare that need the $4,500
to get back on their feet?
not to
To
get
even
out of
get out,
harm's
to
way,
even leave.
to survive,
Right.
to not be in floodwaters.
Right.
What about those type of people and how those kids get affected and everything like that, man? That's the bigger picture of all of this. What we talking about?
I learned this statement a long time ago that the money is always there.
Always.
Right. And I think that's the conversation we have to have. Like, we talking about, should athletes do more? And it starts at a younger age to plant that seed on how to properly handle this and do this and set up generational wealth where we don't have these situations like with the welfare situation. I know Will, we talked before, he tells me this all the time. If a guy gets, let's just say, for instance, you get drafted 5th round. If you get drafted, if you don't get drafted, you get drafted 5th round, and your signing bonus is $200,000. Out of that $200,000, you can go buy a foreclosed home for $50,000, put it into it, and flip it. Same thing with NIL. And look, we all are big components of NIL. We love NIL.
Yes, we do.
So what they're teaching them is how to negotiate a contract with NIL. What they're teaching them is the rules and regulations of NIL. What they're not teaching them is, okay, when I get this money, these are certain things that you could possibly do. So my mind,
we got it already.
My mind,
Me and Doug talk about it all the
is
time.
always racing. Like right now, my mind is like,
I don't even want to say what I thought just now because I
so,
may be stealing.
So now it's like, okay, so, yeah, I can't. Well, anyway, we about better people. But
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, because we do it now anyway. But it's like, it's so much like, okay, Will. Now we bring Will in. Okay, NIL, we love it, and some of these dudes getting good money for NIL. Okay, so let's just say when NIL gets $100,000, out of $100,000, you're in college, you can go buy a foreclosed home.
Call me.
For 20.
I got you.
For $20,000. Out of that 20, put however much you need to put into it. Say you put 40 into it, you still good. But now what you're doing is you're setting another family up, okay, where they can afford a home. All right, they can secure and put a roof over their family's head, and now that gives them confidence.
Yeah.
That lets them know, look, I don't have to depend on nobody else. I'm living under a house myself, and what that makes them think, okay, wait a minute. If I can do it for this person, I can do it for the next person.
Yep.
And so it's more so teaching them and educating them on how to properly use these things because, again, I don't want to get blinded by NIL. And I think when it first happened, like, yeah, everybody getting paid, like, and so we over the honeymoon phase.
Yeah.
Okay, but like, what's the next step?
We need the course of action.
Yeah, we need a course of action.
We need the course of action, and we ready to mobilize.
Absolutely.
Because if you never mobilize that course of action and you just sitting here talking, what's going to
Let
it's gonna be 20 years NIL gonna be going on, and they're gonna still be looking for the next big thing.
Let me tell you something.
Because people are always looking for the next thing. And if you never execute where you at right now, what we talked about that generational wealth is now, you never gonna get there.
Hey, we need to turn this off because this idea is getting.
Let me tell you something.
Well, me and Doug, we talking about it. We ready, and we about to start NIL in some kids. We need to talk about that even for the Pyre. We about to start NIL in some kids.
Straight up.
Pyre
Let me
right
tell
now.
you something about that is like people the things we're talking about. We have to be resilient about it because I've been through those doors in those institutions where, look, this is what I want to do. Oh man, we'd love to have you, but then ain't no call back.
No call back.
But that's okay.
That's okay.
That's totally fine. We know what we have to do,
Right.
And so it's other avenues to do it because sometimes, right, we try to reach for the stars as individuals, including myself. We try to reach for the big thing first.
Absolutely.
Let's go to this big institution. Let's do it. You know, but you can start right here on ground level.
Absolutely.
Right.
And why that's dope too, because that institution's already built how it wants to be built. It already has its DNA of what it wants to do. You know what I'm saying? It may entertain you. You know what I'm saying? Because it sounds good. But they're already built on what they want to be built on. You see what I'm saying?
They got
and
their
it
core
ain't what you talking about. You see what I'm saying?
But like,
so we got to build our own.
They just putting you in the system.
put
You
you-
just another part of the system that they want to go through so they can get whatever they was trying to get the way it was set up for.
100%.
my mind got open to something where it kind of shook me up a little bit. And we did something with finances. And I thought a certain group would not care anything about finances at all. I really believe that. I said, they ain't going to pay attention.
Right.
They don't care.
Right.
But when this dude gets to talking about investments and returns, they are not going to care.
Right.
It was a total opposite.
Wow.
The group I thought would be interested was not interested at all.
And the one that you thought.
The one that I thought wasn't going to be interested went back to school, and they said they was going crazy. They said they need to get a credit card with low interest. They need to do this and do that. And then it kind of, it's like, I said, okay, all right, Lord, I see what you're saying. And so it's just getting the conversation started. And I think once you do that, I mean, the sky's the limit. And we limit situations like with Brett Favre. You're not going to erase it. Because it's just
because it's money. I mean, it's money, and somebody gonna steal it.
But you can't limit it.
Yeah. See, time and harvest is a real thing. It's gonna be here forever. And some people like to call it karma. And thievery, the reason it says thou shalt not steal is because they know it's gonna come back on you. You're gonna get stolen from it in a greater way than you stole. And so,
And it might not be money.
and it might not be money, but
It might be your time here on earth.
Yeah, we'll let them play them games, them temporary games.
Yeah.
And we'll take care of them.
Yeah.
See, we have to. Never mind. We're gonna cut this off.
We can do closing remarks.
Closing remarks right now. So I got a quick. I'm going right back to it. Right. His name came up earlier, Shador. Right. I saw Prime post. And maybe somebody posted on his page and said he put his stats up with old boy from Alabama and put his stats up with old boy from Ohio and said, remember when you're considering the Heisman, you know what I'm saying, to look at this too. Now the obvious thing we all say is what? With competition and all that, right? But then I started looking at my boy, bro. I had to go back and look at him. That boy's number 3 in voting, bro. And the only reason he was number 3 because Rashawn Salam was a dog that year.
Yes, he was.
He was a dog that year, and old boy after him from Penn State. Kajana.
Kajana Carter
was a dog too.
Was a dog. First overall pick.
But for him to be HBCU, play all HBCU teams, and be number 3 in the voting, it said a lot.
He should have won it that year.
He should have won.
I seen him play live that year too. My cousin and them took me to that game. They were going
Southern on the hill.
Alcorn Southern.
Yep,
I was there.
too. Yes, I was.
Alcorn Southern. I was there.
If more of his games was on TV, he would have won.
Oh yeah.
And you know what's crazy
Hands
about
down.
it? You know what's crazy
Absolutely.
about it? He could have been. He could have
Giannis
went
Sparks went
played.
off that game, too.
He could have went played at one of those Division I schools.
He could have.
and still done the same thing.
Yeah.
He would have.
Absolutely.
But his lineage went to Alcorn.
Absolutely.
That's why his
that was
family members coaching
That
now.
was back
Right
in that was back in the
Crazy.
gap when they didn't think black people could play quarterback.
Right.
Yep. Now half the league.
Right.
Another topic.
How y'all feel about it? Should it be considered if he keeps playing this way?
If you keep playing this way, yes.
Will they?
No, they will not.
See,
And-
here's the thing about the Heisman.
Right, come on, Dante. I know where you're going. MVP.
I mean, it's the same thing. It's the same thing with the MVP. It's the same thing with like all these awards that you see. Find out who's voting for
The
them.
Grammys the same way.
Exactly.
Oscar's
the same way. Find out who the people are that's voting for him. If you can find out who the people are voting for him, you could pretty much call your shot on who gonna win.
Right, absolutely.
Like that's why Vegas can put betting odds out on it.
Right.
I mean, because they know the people. They know the people who behind the curtain that's pulling the. They know the Wizard of Oz. They know who the wizard is.
They know the personnel.
Right.
I got it. I say.
Know your personnel.
No, it is not because of the kid. It's because of somebody
absolutely.
who I love what they're doing. It's Coach Prime.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to be in the top 10 because of Coach Prime. Because Coach Prime is saying, I'm not playing none of y'all for no money games. When you got other HBCU teams playing other teams for money games. So he stacked the deck for them to go undefeated.
Right.
They're supposed to go undefeated this year.
Yep. Yep.
Like, so I can't say that's like saying a Boise State quarterback back in the day gonna be the highest. It ain't happening, man. It's because you're not playing you're not playing any FBS teams.
Right.
Not that you're
level.
not playing
Right.
good competition. You're not playing any FBS teams.
Right, which
You're
is
playing
considered
all
the top.
FC.
Right.
It's the top level. You got 100 and some teams that you avoiding.
Yeah.
Right.
So
That's true,
like,
too.
it's Coach Prime. It ain't the kid. It ain't the kid fault.
Right.
He didn't make the schedule. Him and the athletic director got together and did that. And
Yep.
I win the Walter Payton Award, my dude.
Yeah.
Yep.
Keep it moving.
Yeah.
Keep it
get
moving.
the-
Because I think some people may say the argument is, well, Steve McNair finished third in the voting, but Steve McNair's talent was so exponential.
Yeah,
like he was in another
he also closely was a yard away from winning the Super Bowl.
That's what I'm saying. So it was before college, like just watching you in college. If you knew anything about football, anything, look,
Unreal.
I was 9. I knew then. Anytime a guy has a beach towel down to his ankles and still killing you,
Yeah.
you're different. Are you throwing the ball 6 yards down the field off your back foot? Like
With three people hanging on you right now.
That's what I'm about to say. The stature of Steve McNair
yeah.
in HBCU games back then,
Yeah.
man, dude looked like a linebacker.
Yeah.
He looked like a linebacker.
Yeah.
He did.
And he packed stadiums, not Alcorn.
Yep.
Absolutely.
This is true.
And his team,
Yeah.
they wasn't what Jackson State is right now.
Right.
Jackson State also has a bunch of FBS transfers.
Absolutely.
He's throwing the ball to Travis Hunter and them, to the kid Kenny Coleman, the other kid from Texas.
These Division I players, right?
These Division I players. So it's a little different.
Yep.
All right.
We're
So
gonna see.
If that's the case, your boy Jaden Daniels should be in the Heisman.
Yeah.
They got the same stats.
His stats is good.
They got the same stats, and he ain't good. Never mind.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead, dog. Go ahead.
I'm assuming we all doing closing
Go
remarks,
ahead,
right?
man. Go ahead.
All right, so
That was mine just now.
Mine is I am glad that the money talked, because that's the only reason. That's the only way that these derelict, horrible owners are gonna get out of power, is if the money talk. Even with all the stuff against Robert Sarver that came out, he didn't decide he was gonna sell the team until PayPal basically was like, "Hey, we not gonna be associated with this." And we're gonna pull our patch off the jersey if he's gonna continue to be the owner.
Right.
So glad to see that he's getting out. He's gonna have a horrible time spending that $750 million to $1 billion that he's gonna net after the sale of the team.
Crazy. He getting put out. He gonna get
Bills.
He
But
getting penalized.
hopefully
That's true.
these people that are left behind in the organization can actually go to work without feeling that their head boss is gonna pull their pants down during a charity event.
Jeez.
Literally.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. My closing remark would be to all the student athletes right now, to bet on yourself, man, and to look to an older version of y'all. If y'all play baseball, it's Aaron Judge. Bet on yourself, man. If it's football, look to Lamar Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Keep betting on yourself no matter what nobody else tell you.
Get the education.
Get the education, learn how to negotiate your own contracts, and then execute on the field and take your chance, man, and go for it. Because you rather go out your way than to go out their way.
And it ain't as hard as you think.
Nope.
People always like to put the curtain up and make you think they got some oogie boogie, some kind of special magic on the other side of the curtain. Trust me, when you pull the curtain back, everybody look like you, bro.
Yep. Everybody look like you. True. And all them contracts is online, so you can go look at somebody else's old contract.
Brains is brains. In the internet right now, you can look at somebody's old contract and you can do yours exactly the same way.
Exactly the same way.
You just change the name.
I mean,
Change the name
literally,
and the date.
literally all the contracts are on Spotrac.
That's it. That's it. Dollar amounts, everything. When they get the bonus,
when it triggers, what clauses, everything else is in line.
Bet on yourself, man.
Bet on yourself.
Bet on yourself.
Do a little reading.
That's true. I mean, mine is just gonna be simple for the Evergreen. y'all need to go subscribe.
Yeah.
And when I say that, and I'm being dead serious when I say go subscribe, because every like that we get, whether it's TikTok, we've had thousands of likes on TikTok.
Yep.
So if you like something, it'll literally take you 10 seconds just to go click the link in our bio and hit subscribe. Even on Instagram, you have people that watch our reels and they like it. Just go subscribe. It doesn't take much to do that. The reason I say that is this, and I'm not just speaking this because we're sitting here, but I think our podcast is different in the aspect of that we're coming from ground up. Like we have nobody backing us, no major corporation or this media conglomerate backing us up. This is generally us. And what we talk about, I think, is will help people out for the rest of their life. And there's no diss on any other podcast. Like they have some great podcasts out there.
Keep doing your thing.
So my thing is this: even our people that we're close with, our friends and stuff, help us get this movement going. Because we're gonna continue to do it. We always say is do it with or without you.
Right.
But also it does help if you guys go support us, go subscribe, and go like it.
Yep. I love it, man. This has been Evergreen Pod, man. We'll see y'all next time. Y'all can like, subscribe, share, right?
Yep.
All that good stuff, man. And we'll see y'all next time. Shout out to the live audience too.
Yeah.